We haven't seen Lichen or Dorado in a while, and now we know why. A clutch of 5 juvenile whelps are trailing at their heels. The two have kept their young well hidden and cared for. Chirping and trilling, all is well until Lichen and Dorado come to an abrupt halt. An Allosaurus blocks their path. Lichen bellows her fury, and Dorado follows her lead. This one is alone, and Lichen has a family to feed. She despises these theropods, and is eager to remove this one from the population. But it is a powerful foe, and the canyon is certainly in its favor. They must be careful. Getting stuck against the rocks could prove lethal. Dorado receives a large wound on his side. Lichen darts into land a crushing bite that hobbles the Allosaurus. Dorado takes the opportunity to slip past their foe. But Lichen is hesitating now. This scene is much too familiar to her. She knows that her mate is hurt, and roars to get the predator's attention on her. But it doesn't work. The Allosaurus turns for Dorado, and she once again darts forward to cripple it before it can chase him down. Lichen soon realizes this is not a battle they can win. Not here, where the terrain could spell their end. Our Utyrannus escape, wounded but alive. They meet back in the canyons, trilling for their young, who have hidden themselves in the brush. All 5 whelps come running at their parents' call. They're quick to circle Dorado, lavishing him and their mother with attention, as they lay down to rest and heal. After the failed hunt on the Allosaurus, Lichen is teaching her whelps to hunt small critters. They are eager, and one whelp gets nipped in the scramble. Dorado is off hunting for a larger meal, but Lichen seems content with the task of teaching their offspring to hunt. The family walk together, strengthening their bonds and social skills. Dorado returns from his scouting, and takes his turn at teaching their offspring the art of disguising their scent with flowers. 3 of the whelps are still hungry, and dig at the den of a platystylix. Normally, Utyrannus avoid this creature and its noxious taste, which speaks of their hunger. Across the clearing, we find a familiar sight. One of the whelps has mistaken a cluster of button mushrooms for flowers, just as Lichen had in her adolescence. It roars its displeasure, drawing Dorado's attention, as another whelp makes the same discovery, and is equally displeased. He investigates the fungi and finds nothing amiss, but roars for good measure. As the sun sets, the family has made their way to a small pool. Lichen swims out, and one whelp bravely follows after her, but shrieks in alarm as its coat is drenched. Lichen clicks and trills to soothe her offspring, and all is well again. Lichen and Dorado have been hard at work keeping their family fed. Prey has been scarce this season, But Lichen is no stranger to hardship. She leads her mate and offspring to dens constantly, working with Dorado to teach the whelps everything they need to know to survive. They practice hunting, and even the noxious platystyryx aren't safe. These small but frequent meals keep the young strong, and hone their skills to keep themselves fed. Dorado dances approvingly, while Lichen takes the opportunity to lay in her favorite flowers. Her youngest son, Cree, plays happily at her side. Moments like these are crucial for such a social species. Lichen and Dorado's songs and dances will be passed on to their whelps, and their whelps' offspring for generations. Soon they're joined by Snowflake, the eldest daughter, and Carbine, another male. As the sun sets, they will need to find a place to bed down for the night. With resources so scarce, these whelps will likely disperse soon, but for now, they curl up in the safety and warmth of their parents' coats. Lichen and Dorado are wandering further from their territory, in search of food and better hunting grounds. One whelp has already dispersed ahead of his siblings. Luckily, Lichen is resourceful in times of scarcity. She takes her offspring to a dry lake bed full of roots. Cree follows her example, nibbling at the sugary tubers, but his family is already moving on. Lichen has caught the scent of a carcass, and leads the group up a winding path. Finding a Uteranus eating meat that isn't fresh is a rare sight, and is a testament to how desperate they are, especially considering how the whelps do not hesitate to dig in. The two females, Snowflake and Lily, are nearing adulthood. We are surprised that they have stayed this long with so little food. Their parents have taught them a great deal about surviving in this harsh world. They will depart with everything they need to know about living through hardship. The strength of the familial bonds Uteranus form is shown here by one last session of bonding. After much trilling, nuzzling and dancing, the sisters leave together to start their own cabal. The bellowing roars of their family bid them farewell as they set off on their own. After the departure of Snowflake and Lily, our Uteranus pair are spotted leading their remaining offspring back into their territory. They're playful after their meal of roots and the found carcass, and a quick game of chase ensues. Carbine has started distancing himself, and trails along behind his family. He will be the next to strike out on his own. Sure enough, at the ridge's peak, he calls softly. Lichen and Dorado lavish their son with affection, one last time. Notice how Carbine cuts off his dance. He will likely carry that trait, learned from his father, with him for life. Their howling roars send him on his way, his answering call fading into the forest. Lichen turns to Cree. nuzzling him as the last remaining whelp. The heat of the day finds the pair and their son enjoying the springs. The cool water incites another game of chase. Running and splashing through the puddles, this carefree moment is one to be treasured. With joyful roars, the three set off back towards their home of dark woods. And now, it is finally Cree's turn to leave. His farewell is just as bittersweet as his siblings. Lichen and Dorado have raised their first clutch together with great success. Perhaps we shall see their offspring again one day. This experience of raising their offspring has strengthened their bond tremendously. We shall see what their journey has in store for them in the coming seasons.